know a language perfectly, but if you're going to operate in a country, you should at least know the top 10 phrases to be able to make you operationally efficient when you get off the plane or the boat or the train. Okay? Cross-cultural email etiquette and expectation. How do you do most of your interaction with people in today's world? Digitally, I would think. When you're doing work and interaction with people from different cultures, they bring their cultural nuances and attributes to the digital world as much as they do to the physical world. Have you thought about that? Do you know how, when someone says yes digitally from another culture, does that mean the same thing as it means when they say it to you physically? The point here is you have to think about the cultural dimensions, the cross-cultural dimensions in the digital world as well as the physical world. Of course, you have many opportunities to enable your own individual case learning on things online and things like small class instruction. Okay. So let's talk about collaborating. Well, first of all, congratulations, you're doing it already. You're here at Egyptian Engineering Day. This is a big step. You're meeting other people who have an interest like you do. You have another opportunity in November here in Egypt to participate in Global Entrepreneurship Week. It is a worldwide activity. Last year took place in over 40 countries, all connected. Egypt will have its own program and dedicated activity. You see the email address of the person in Egypt who is coordinating it for the Kaufman Foundation, and make your mark. If you go to the Global Entrepreneurship Week website, I think you'll be very impressed with the number of countries who are participating and the opportunity for you to begin collaborating with others, learn from others, and to start understanding mentoring and coaching relationships that would be helpful to you. Okay. Now, what about mentoring and coaching? So find somebody outside of Egypt and in a market that you're interested in, and become their mentor. Ask them if you could be their mentor. Get mentoring benefits from people who actually have hands-on global experience in the area that you're interested in. Okay? Not just theoretical, not just academic experience, but find people who have been engaged, been in the marketplace, because if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need practical lessons, life lessons. And then you have an obligation too. You have an obligation to teach and to coach others about Egypt. You don't have to, but if you want to be an effective player in a global economy, you need to. Because you need other people to understand the priorities and the attributes and the values of Egypt as much as you need to learn others. The easiest way to make an impact on that is to be a coach yourself. Okay. Now, what about executing? Well, our exercise is going to give us a little bit of this. Analyze and pick a market. All right? So, you're going to think about something outside of Egypt. Pick a market. Plan for integrating your operations, not just establishing them. What do I mean by that? In the future, you are going to be able to add more value if you can present to your clients or customers the synergy that comes from the multicultural, multi-dimensional learning that you've acquired and leadership that you've acquired. And if all you're doing is establishing separate and discrete operations, you will not be able to present that as a value proposition. So from the beginning, think about how you integrate your operations, not just establish them. Skill yourself to be competent in the digitally and physical world and the intersection of language and culture. And when you are up to that point where you can and you want to hire people, at least my view is you hire people who have of integrity, pride, because you want them to feel good about what they're doing and what they're doing with you. Energy, because it's going to take a lot of energy, and a love for diversity. Okay. So, in summary, get a sense of the trends. What do I mean by not in a global recession? I think it's one of the greatest misnomers that we read about and hear about on TV and in other places coming from politicians that we're in a global recession. In fact, I think what I've tried to show you is that we're not. We may be in a global slowdown, economic slowdown, but not all countries are in a recession. Many countries are still growing, and that means that their comparative advantage to others is expanding and extending the distance. Important to remember. Engage with a plan and awareness of what differentiates you, all right? What makes you special, Again, disruptive technology or disruptive business model. Are you relevant to a market in the national agenda? I suggest you start at the national agenda. You can start anywhere you want. And remember that the global economy is both physical and digital, and your leadership needs to be so as well. So, the closing question is, will you and Egypt take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented by this rapidly changed world and very integrated economy? And I hope you do. And thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have. Any questions? Do you have some time? I bored you all? Okay. Well, let's do this. We're going to split you up. For those of you who want to participate in the workshop session, we've got time. I think we have time. Yeah, we're in good shape. So we have two choices. Break you up into teams now. And by the looks of it, teams of probably 5 people each. Then we're going to hand you a national agenda for one of the 5 countries. Take about 15 minutes to look at the material. Come up as a team with an idea of what business you would create to penetrate that market and to be successful given the national agenda and the information you have before you. And then we're going to ask, that'll take about 15 minutes, and then we're going to take the last 15 minutes or 20 minutes to call on certain teams, and you can present what you did and why. All right? So let's pass that out. Why don't we break up into groups of 5, and we'll try to see if we can get going on this right away. So you got 6 right there in the first. How about that? Go ahead. You form your own groups. I don't need to form them for you. That you think you want to launch.
Infrastructure of the country, especially when it comes to roads and telecom infrastructure. We also noticed that Kenya has a big percentage of its GDP from agriculture. So the first priority or the first business we thought of is that what we call the agriculture industry, which is how do you call it? I mean, taking the raw packaging of the vegetables or foods, the agriculture products of the country and packaging it somehow